old school camel pants on from the 80s and 90s. We have our 1998 4Runner parked right over here. Alright, here we go. Corporals Corner 1990s Campout. We have our old school camel pants on from the 80s and 90s. We have our 1998 4Runner parked right over here. My tent, which you'll see here in a minute, and a sleeping bag. And even the food is straight out of the 1990s. Anywhere from, I want to say, 91, 92-ish, all the way up to 1999. The camera right now is 1995. Searched high and low, went through a few repairs, but we got her done. It's always a plan B, C, and D, and eventually a checkmate. Just a matter of when. Now, sit back, enjoy, and what I'll do here is I'll give you a quick clip of how I pulled this off, but we'll do a midweek video showing exactly what this entails and what we had to go through, and some type of bridging technology, just like myself, a Zennial, where we bridge that gap between analog and digital. So look forward to that. Now, without further ado, let's get her done. And you know we're going to do this in 480 1995 technology. Before we get too far down the trail, we have 100 Corporals Corner skillets that are stainless steel with that removable handle dropping to my website as we speak. Set it and forget it. These last between 1 and 3 hours, so grab yours now. Get them while they're hot. Get them while you can. While you're there, don't forget to grab the skillet bag and patch. That's corporalscorner.com, and that link is located in my video description box. So keeping with the theme of the 1990s, I found a Marlboro Unlimited sleeping bag straight out of 1994. Now think back, those that are my age, a little bit older, remember those Marlboro miles, and they glorified smoking. Prior to taking it out of smoking inside buildings, then it was like only government buildings, and then now it's parks, etc. They have a smoking section. Back in the day, you could smoke in restaurants and be like, I want to be in the non-smoking section. Sit over here. Right across from you, dude's puffing away, blowing everywhere. You look out, the sunlight's going through the windows, nice glare, cloud of smoke, going over your pancakes at IHOP as you're pouring the maple syrup on there, or the blueberry pancakes, you know, and you're like just breathing that secondhand smoke. Well, what happened was Marlboro, along with glorifying cigarettes, partnered up with Coleman, and they used their Marlboro Miles, which was the basically barcodes. You clip those off, save them, and they gave you a magazine, and you could pick through there what I wanted. And at that time, camping was the thing. Car camping, going out exploring, taking the family out. And they came up with all kinds of camping gear. So today, we have the Coleman Marlboro Unlimited logoed sleeping bag and the Coleman tent. Now, the first 1 or 2 runs, there was actually a Marlboro cigarette logo on these. This one does not have it. I think it's the 3rd gen. So it's like later in the 90s, like 97, 98. However, it's the exact same tent, and it matches the sleeping bag. So on that note, let's get these put up. there's the rain fly right there. This thing is basically brand new. Got the Coleman logo right there. And as we all know today, Coleman is garbage Walmart camping gear. But back then, this was premium in quality. We have our fiberglass rods right here. And tent stakes. So here's our fiberglass rods, and this tent is probably brand new, never been used at all, and it's 30 plus years old. So there's one. We'll get the second one up and get her done. Camera technology, actually not much in the way of tents has actually improved in 30 years. You still slide these things inside here and risk ripping them. Slide it all the way through to the opposite end. Then it just hooks in the bottom. Get it done. And that just slides over top. That small pin goes inside there like that. And then it raises up on all four corners. And yes, tent stakes were garbage back then too. And now we'll go to the opposite corner. Pull it tight. Stake it down. Front corner, pull it tight. That's a thing of beauty right there. And last but not least, we have a third rod that will actually go inside this pocket right here. There's a thing of beauty right there. Now I know for a fact these existed. Whether they were thermarest or not, I couldn't tell you. Usually most at that time were half-inch padding like the military had, and they would roll up, and they'd end up being about that big around. But we're going to roll with this because they did exist. And we have our Marlboro Unlimited. Check this out. Even the bed straps got the logo on it. This thing is brand new, and the bedroll straps are actually sewn and attached to the bottom of that sleeping bag. And to be honest, this is a lightweight sleeping bag. However, check that out. Fleece lined. That is unreal. Yeah, brand new, 30 years old. So I guess in a way, new, old stock. And there's our logo right there. Check that out. Makes me want to start smoking. Forget all this vape crap. Get cancer like a man. So this entire video is going to be filmed in 480 using a VHS-C cassette tape. This is old school. This is what replaced the large VCR tapes or VHS tapes, and then these were replaced by, for a short time, DVDs, and then ultimately the SD cards. Now, the runtime on this right now is about 35 to 40 minutes, and the batteries last about 35 minutes max. And this one right here is already going to be empty. So I got to do a one-for-one, swap them out. Now, the real trick's going to be taking this cassette tape and converting it to digital so I can do my editing. However, like I already mentioned, there's a midweek video that I'm going to drop. It's going to show all the bridging technology that we used to convert analog over to digital. And it's 1 unit for less than $100, and you can actually take all your old memories that are on VHS and convert them in a matter of probably 35 or 40 minutes, whatever the runtime of that tape is, onto an SD card or a micro SD card, and then you can keep everything transferred onto a hard drive and ultimately onto the cloud and keep it forever. Get a fire pit forward of the campsite and the vehicle. Somewhere in here. Alright, show of hands here. Time for some honesty. Growing up Gen X, or in my case, a Zennial, whose parents didn't have one of these in the garage from the 1970s, 80s, and even the 90s? Just saying. Old technology, it's old, but not obsolete. This represents a 30-minute cassette tape, and this is as far as we've gotten. That battery's got about a minute of life left to it. So they both corresponded with each other and it worked out well. However, we haven't cooked food yet, no fire, no evening festivities, no morning fiasco, right? And that's all coming. So I'm thinking about maybe 3 to 4 more cassette tapes just to get about 20 minutes of useful footage. So imagine back in the day, the old saying, we're burning tape. No BS, right? And time is money. So just imagine how expensive things used to be. On that note, let's continue on. And here you go, Corporals Corner, 1990s pizza on a bagel. And the best part is, it's cooked in a Corporals Corner skillet. Catch you on a few. Perfection. That's what we're talking about, right there. Campfire, 1990s, Jiffy Pop. Earlier we had pizza on a bagel. Catch you all in a few. That's the backlight on the camera right there, and that's as bright as it's gonna get. If I add this lantern, check this out. It gets better, but when it sees it, look at that. Here's what it is. The closer I get with that backlight, gives it that old school like Blair Witch effect. So let's try this. So here's what I've gathered from this outing. 3 tapes is barely enough, and 2 batteries is definitely not enough. They were fully charged, and I have exactly 9 minutes left, and that is it. And I'm hoping that's 9 actual minutes, not just 9 minutes and then you're just, it jumps to like 2 and you're done. So I have no choice but to cut this short and end it off right now, and then we'll go from there. If this video is well received, people enjoy it, they enjoy this style. Every once in a while we'll go back to this and toss in an old school vintage retro type Campout and use this camera. And then if things go really well, I might look into other cameras as well. If not, it was fun, had a good time, and we're gonna move on to something else. So on that note, let's go ahead and get out of here. With that, all the gear in my videos can be found in one spot, my website, corporalscorner.com. And that link is located in my video description box. Now please do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button, then ring that notification bell. Once you ring that bell, please select all notifications. And as always, thank you for your comments, views, and support. Thanks for watching. Get out in the field, have some fun. I'm gonna catch you next time.